Hey everyone, and welcome to Almost Cancelled. I am Peter, that is Connor, and we are going to talk about the Umbrella Academy Season 1, Episode 4. It's called Man on the Moon. Do you believe they put a man on the moon?
You got about 4 seconds in.
I got it wrong, actually. I think it's if you believe they put a man on the moon. But, of
I don't
course,
care. The sentiment was what mattered.
I was referencing the hit REM song, Man on the Moon. For anyone that didn't get it.
4 seconds. We're going to this. You've said nothing else yet.
Full spoilers for the episode, as always. So, there we go. So, this episode ended with a big sort of bang, almost literally, in that we lost a character. And I think I liked this death because when they started like teasing that, Detective Patch was going to the motel alone, right, and she was calling for backup, I went, she seems believable, like I can buy them killing her this early.
Yeah, we had just enough scenes with her that she's a character. But, she's not hugely important to the plot.
But at the same time, you can kind of see how she would fit into the rest of the show if she stuck around. You could sort of say, yeah, she's going to be like the cop character who, is a contact for
which
Diego.
it's something we kind of spoke about in the first episodes. Like, of course, there's the Gordon-esque figure. I think removing her makes it more interesting in that it hasn't got that traditional cliche almost to fall back on.
Yeah, I think it also gives Diego more motivation. Like, I feel like him going forward is going to be a character who is more hell-bent. I mean, he was already pretty hell-bent on, like, achieving things. He was already hell-bent on stopping bad guys and finding out what's going on, but this makes it personal. It's not just another case. It's not just another, oh, I'm a vigilante who likes to beat up bad guys. It's, it's not just that anymore. There's more to it. It's more personal. So I like what it does to that. And the scene itself is quite well executed. And that that Cha-Cha's somewhere. You think she's still in the bathroom.
Yeah. You're waiting for it to come out. And just stand above him when he kneels down.
Yeah. You expect her to, drop her guard a little bit because she's got him on his knees, move forward maybe, and then she'll pop out, and
yeah, exactly. And Klaus, the little shithead, doesn't mention that there's two of them.
I mean, his mouth is taped.
Yeah, but his hands are free.
His hands are free. He could have mentioned it. Instead, he sneaks out through the comical large vent. I mean, obviously it's not just a trope in this show. Movies and TV are pretty guilty of this, but I'm using it all the same. But he does have the briefcase. He's home for money. He ends up opening it, though, and disappears off the bus.
Presumably some sort of time travel adventure.
Which is what we said that was a time travel device. And he's having kind of a weird interaction with the woman across from him, they're just kind of smelling at each other in this weird, and it's not like a flirting thing or anything like that. It's like almost just a weird, you're a bit of a weird dude. This is kind of amusing, and he's like, yeah, I'm a bit of a weird dude, and without any words, I'm adding the words in to sort of this, to convey what I think is going through their body language.
No, I get that.
Yeah.
She's just kind of like, you do you.
Yeah, and then he disappears, and she's like, whoa, where'd he go?
I laughed when she looks under the seats, like he was down there.
Yeah, and we got some more context for that dark place that he goes to in his head. That's where, that essentially that was created, or he became aware of it, when his father was trying to condition him to his powers and locked him in a crypt when he was a child.
Hey, it's an extreme facial fear, right? Scared of dead people? Well, go spend some time with him.
Given that he's been hooked on narcotics since the age of 16, I feel like this was bad parenting.
Didn't work,
yeah. I think this was bad parenting. I don't think parents can always be blamed for kids going down that path. I feel like in this case, it's textbook. He's to blame.
Yeah, Hargreaves is not the best father figure, is he?
Father of the year.
Hey, come now. He saved Luther's life.
Sure. He cares enough to make sure they stay alive. Yes, that's not Father of the Year. That's like just baseline. That's not even father material. That's just human being with sympathy.
Yeah.
And arguably, then it's not even sympathy. He's just protecting his asset.
Yeah, quite possibly.
Yes, and somehow the serum he gave him in this flashback turns him into hairy man beast.
Yes, because he's kind of normal. I mean, he's still big, right? He's tall.
Yeah, but he's a normal big guy, not a supernatural big guy.
Yeah, obviously still has his strength at that point though. Like
Yeah.
that's given anyway.
That's his power.
I did love it. He goes, right. You can stop calling me number one now. And I was like, why would I do that? He goes, because I'm the only one left. You don't need to differentiate us anymore.
Yes. Child, perhaps, is what he'd probably switch to then.
Boy.
Yes, boy. So that flashback was interesting. We sort of see how sad and lonely he is before that call comes in for the mission. He's just kind of, he's riding around in a tricycle or something like that.
Yeah, going around in circles.
In the mansion, and just, more music's playing. We got some more tunes in this one. Got some David Gray at the end.
Yeah, he was looking at all the empty bedrooms.
Yeah. So yeah, it was just kind of sad. It kind of gives an impression of what he's been like. And you get this impression that all of them have been kind of sad and lonely. And I think part of this is ultimately going to be that they realise that they do actually want to be around each other. That makes them not be lonely. But they're all a bunch of idiots and haven't realised that yet.
Yeah.
Arguably, Allison and Vanya are tiptoeing there.
Yeah, they're getting closer.
Yeah, they had the little date together, and that plot's going. It's mainly Vanya's plot this episode. Allison's there in support of that role to tell her that the mother's passed on, but obviously it's mainly about her and the dude whose name I should
Leonard.
There you go. I should really remember his name. He's still. Do you know what? He's still drone pilot. That's all I can think when I look at him is drone pilot.
Yeah, he is aggressively dull. There's nothing wrong with the character here in the same way there was, with drone pilot. It's his voice.
I think there's one thing wrong with the character, or at least how they're portraying it.
Okay, yeah.
And that's just how, how do I put this?
Suspicious.
Well, no, it's not that he's suspicious in and of itself. It's how the second he does something that is remotely suspicious, the music goes all.
Yeah.
What's he up to? Audience? I'm overdoing it, but it was.
Yes, it's a bit melodramatic.
Yeah, it gets very dramatic because. He walks Vanya to practice or to the recital. It's practice. It's rehearsal.
Yes, rehearsal.
Yeah. I meant to say rehearsal and I said practice instead. I was like, no, that's wrong. Yeah. And then I went with the wrong R word. But walks up to the thing. And
the door opens and you can hear, every so often, someone walks in and you can hear a different section tuning up. And I just had a flashback just to being sat there in an orchestra with all the tuning up going on. I'm like, oh my God, went back about a decade.
Oh yeah, that sounds awful.
Well, it just literally those sounds immediately straight back.
Yeah, and it does kind of hitting off to say let's have dinner sometime, and he seems again one of the things that he really hits at is that he keeps saying stop apologizing for existing.
Yeah,
you can stop apologizing. But then Allison finds him in Vanya's apartment, and he's got her keys. She left her keys at my house, I was dropping them off, and she's like, yeah, but why are you inside the apartment? And he's like, I just have to use the bathroom. And the music gets really dark and sinister, and then he leaves. And it's like, okay. And I was feeling a bit weird about that, but whatever. So Allison goes to tell her this, and Vanya's like, no, I know him, I like him. It's only been a couple of days, but and they
seems alright.
They bond a little bit. They're bonding together, two sisters. And this is actually another thing, is that there's a hint. We're kind of getting an impression that Allison and Luther were close, but there was a hint from Diego in another scene that there was more than just friendship. And then in this scene, it's basically confirmed. Vanya outright, says, "You mean Luther?" And she's like, "Oh, did everyone know?" Like, we don't know how far it went, but clearly there was a romantic kindle.
There was, yeah.
There, and it's interesting to me because the debate becomes, well, are they're siblings, and I'm like, well, they are in the sense that one guy adopted them all.
They are, and I think with the way they were raised, though, they weren't raised as siblings, were they? Not really.
Yeah, well, this is a funny thing, because normally I'd say if you were both adopted as babies, then you feel like proper siblings. But yes, given specifically how Hargreaves raised them, because it was...
Yeah, different circumstances, this, isn't it?
Very, very specific. So they probably didn't feel like siblings in the traditional sense, but so they clearly, had a thing, and
yeah, I would not be surprised if they felt more like colleagues on a team, right?
Yeah,
in the
that.
training and that rather than siblings.
But it is funny though that we're making that distinction, but this scene ends with them going, "Hey, sisters together, right?" And they clank their glasses, and I'm like, well,
they are more now as adults.
Sure.
But I think they've kind of realised, oh, hey, that's what's normal.
But this is what makes it murky, though, right? Is if those two are going to recognise each other as sisters, then they kind of have to acknowledge that her and Luther are siblings as well. There's a murkiness there. So we'll see if they get to addressing that. Is that better or worse than number 5 with the mannequin? I mean, who's to judge?
I mean, it's better, isn't it? Because it's a mannequin.
Okay, what if they were actually brother and sister though? Would that be better than the mannequin?
That's completely different.
I'm gauging here. Is that better or worse than the mannequin?
I don't know. I've watched too much Game of Thrones.
I suppose if it's consensual from both brother and sister, then that's better because the mannequin's not giving consent technically.
That is true. Yeah, but also it's a mannequin, so.
Hey, you don't know if there's some sort of being in there. It just can't say anything because it's wooden, wooden mouth. Can't.
I mean, they're more plastic.
Can't emote. Aye, I'm sure you get wooden mannequins.
Not anymore, you don't.
There's time travel in this show. It could be wooden.
She's not wooden.
Fine, she makes him wooden though. Speaking of wood, I did like.
Speaking of, that's your segue.
Klaus's. We've not finished with our plot, but Klaus's getting off on the torture just to wind them up, basically, was cracking me up. Him like I can't remember exactly what they were doing. They're strangling him or something at this point.
Yeah, they were. Yeah.
And he's just like, oh yeah, I'm almost there. And then she just looks down at his lap, and then he looks over, and is like, yeah, that's that, yep. And they're just kind of like, oh Jesus Christ, and they sit down. And it's like, he's getting off on this.
I loved the bit where, he goes, you just took the wrong guy. They're not even going to notice I'm missing.
Which they literally don't, because later on, Diego, because Detective Patch thinks that, oh, I found your brother, thinking that Klaus was the one missing. And then later on, he's like, she said she found my brother, but that doesn't make sense. And he's looking over at number 5, because obviously he was talking about number 5 at the time.
Yeah, when they found number 5 now, I was like, it doesn't make any sense.
Oh, Klaus. I'll go see what's up. I'll go see what's happening.
I guess Klaus is missing.
Yeah, we'll go find him. But yeah, so back to Alison and more specifically Vanya. So Vanya, they come home and she finds flowers in her bedroom, right? And it's like, oh, that's why he was inside. He was leaving a present, right? It's like, okay, all right. So they did a little swerve with us. It's like, oh, teased that we might be villainous, and then swerved.
And then 20 seconds later,
and then if that, we get another swerve back the way that he did steal her pills and is pouring them down the sink. He wants her not to be on the pills. Now, this is wrong either way. It could be that he just is so concerned about her, he's confident she can do without them, so he's overstepping his boundaries in doing this.
Yeah, even if that's the motivation, still wrong.
It's still wrong, yeah. But I also feel that there's also like who is he really? What's he actually doing?
Intentional? Yeah.
Is he got a motive here that's beyond just a creepy stalkery?
Yeah, because she mentioned she's been taking these pills pretty much her whole life, right? Since she was a teenager. It's just to anxiety, right, for her nerves.
Well, I wonder if
so she says.
I wonder if they have been suppressing any powers that otherwise might have blossomed. Just a theory.
I mean, wouldn't be too surprised if that's the case.
Yeah, like maybe that anxiety is part of her power.
Maybe, yeah.
And by suppressing it, she's suppressing the true potential of what that power can do. I don't know. I'm just spitballing.
Or maybe it's just she actually has an anxious personality, and it's like, here, these'll help. And they don't do anything for the anxiety. Nah,
she's going to turn it like a fire demon next episode. That'll be her power.
A fire demon. That's where we go with this.
She's going to turn it into a giant Johnny Storm. Like she'll be bigger than Luther. That you watch.
Joe, it's really funny you say that because last episode when they're stood next to each other and you see the size difference.
Oh, Ellen Page is tiny. Like she's a tiny
so
person.
Small.
Yeah. She's like, even in the poster she's standing like she's at the front next to 5 because they're the same height.
Yeah, like
5's like 14.
She is very much on the short side, but when she stood next to Luther,
yeah,
It's like, okay, this is comical now.
Yes, you could literally stack two of her.
You really could.
Yeah. Now, admittedly, obviously they're accenting his height for
Oh, of course,
effect purposes, but still.
That's fine.
But yeah, so to go back to Klaus, I did like Ben sitting there taunting them as he's been doing, dead Ben, and it's like there's this other woman here, this foreign woman who's just Russian. She got kind of bloody head. She's just kind of like constantly talking, and eventually Ben's like, "Hey, whoever this is, she seems to know them. Like you can use this."
Yeah, and he points out quite directly, hey, you've been dulling this with the drugs for a long time. This is the first time you've been sober in years.
Just like Vanya.
Yeah. I'm
just saying it. Anyway, so yeah, he asks who she is, and I can't remember what the name was. It was something or other. And he says this name out loud. He starts talking to her and says the name, and then both Cha-Cha and and Hazel are like, "Wait, what? What did he just say?" And they're like, "How did you know that?" And then you would come back later, and he's surrounded by their victims.
Yeah,
they're all just talking, and he's spouting knowledge that he shouldn't have, and they're freaking out. And then this kind of gets us up to where Detective Patch eventually.
Oh yeah, it turns out Hazel's got a bit of a conscience, isn't he? He's not killing all the he's killing the targets.
Wait, did you read his explanation as that, or did you read it as incompetence, where he actually did want to
bit of both,
do it for sport, and he ended up letting them go? I was taking it that whenever he just fails, he just makes up an excuse or pretends that they were killed to get around it.
I think with some of them, because it sounded like to me, especially the first one, the woman in the alley. Based on what we hear through Klaus as well, it sounds like he kind of chose not to kill her almost. Like he just didn't have it in him.
Yeah, maybe that's what they're doing with the waitress at the diner. Maybe ultimately she'll be in the crosshairs and he'll have to make a choice.
Yeah.
Because there's another scene of him going back there. And I'm going to be honest, Cha-Cha, you don't like donuts, then we're not going to be friends. We
can't be friends, can we?
Yeah, no, we can't.
Yeah. I feel like I need to go and get some donuts before I watch any more of this show.
As do I. See the one she had specifically? It was like a dense chocolate donut with white icing.
Not for me.
Oh no, I like those ones.
I can't do chocolate.
I like a nice. I like a nice dense chocolate donut. Yeah, we get ones with like other flavoring put through it as well. Chocolate orange, oh baby, so good.
I don't really do much chocolate, especially not. I can tolerate small amounts of just chocolate on its own.
Do you know the amount of controversy on a stream recently about you not liking coconut? Do you know what they're going to do when they hear you like chocolate?
No, it's not that I don't like chocolate. It's that I can eat it in small amounts. It's fine.
Mm-hmm.
I get sick of it really quickly. And then I don't like anything chocolate flavor, cakes, ice creams, donuts, any of that sort of stuff with the flavor. No.
Chocolate cakes, the shit.
No, it's awful. It's atrocious stuff.
I'm monitoring some feline activity. Get on behind the computer.
Not gonna lie, the cats are worse than chocolate cake though.
I would make a TV show called Feline Activity, and it's like the X-Files, but
they're all cats.
But they're all cats. Yeah.
Sounds atrocious. Yeah, the internet would watch it.
I don't know. I don't know what Mulder's cat name would be, but Scully would become Fluffy.
Can we get back on topic?
Yes. So yeah. So I like the use of Klaus's powers and seeing the benefits that it could hold. This is probably the first true benefit we've maybe seen.
Yeah, it becomes a reverse interrogation.
Yeah, I like that, and he kind of freaks them out by it. And I'm maybe more leaning towards this Ben being real Ben, in the sense that all these other beings are real. I don't know.
Well, you see, this actually put me more in the opposite direction.
Oh, really? Okay.
Because why is he always there? If the drugs are numbing all of them consistently,
that's a good point.
Why is Ben the only one that's there?
That's a good point. I guess my argument would be that because he's his ghost, he's close to him. He's not there for anyone else. He's there because it's him.
Okay.
Maybe it fights through. Maybe that's why he was quiet. For the first time we saw him, he was just completely quiet.
Maybe.
And then he started talking the next episode. So I don't know if that's maybe like, no, the drugs were wearing off a little bit, and he was starting to like come through more.
It could be. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah, but it's interesting.
I can see the argument going in both directions, though, from what we see here.
One of the things to do, though, because he does eventually, he's actually really good at withstanding interrogation until they start getting rid of his drugs.
The drugs, yeah.
And then he just gives them everything he knows. So they go and
like to the point where they're waterboarding him, and he's like, yeah, I needed that drink.
Yeah, it's actually really funny to watch this scene, to be honest. But they go and burn the lab with all the eyes and shit in it.
Yeah.
And it turns out, because at the same time, Five has got the scientist, and it turns out he's been selling like eyes and body parts on the black market. So the serial number might have been made. It's just that it's off the books. So he's looking into that. But when he gets there, the place is already burning. It was a very psychedelic burning scene because they've been eating some of the dodgy chocolate from Klaus, so they're high as they're burning this place.
I have to question something. The masks.
Yes.
So last episode we were like, oh, so they're metal helmets, right? And then here they're all rubbery again.
Some inconsistencies with the helmets.
Yeah, because they definitely felt metal during the fight sequence.
Oh, they did. There were people were punching when they were like clank.
Yeah, right. Here, when he goes to eat the chocolate, he kind of lifts it rubbery style, and during the fire, the ear comes off. Because it gets caught on fire and it's all floppy and rubbery. I'm like, okay, what's going on here?
That's
I don't know. Yeah, it's inconsistency, or maybe for some they have a button where they harden up. I don't know. It bothered me though.
I think it's an inconsistency.
I think it is.
I think it's that it is easier to shoot with certain types of masks given depending on the scene, and they're just going to flip flop depending what they need.
Yeah, probably.
I think
it was just really bugging me.
That's fair. So Luther and Diego are kind of working together to find Five and figure out what's going on, and they actually end up finding him in the library drunk after the burnings happened, and he's just blind drunk, and they overhear him say a bunch of things that are kind of curious. Like he says, "Oh, I'm the best of the best. I've killed tons of people," and they're like, "Best of who? Who are you talking about?"
Yeah.
So. It seems like we're getting closer to that, although he passes out in Diego's place by the end.
Yeah, after throwing up.
After throwing up on Luther. Luther's not happy. But yeah, so the episode ends with Diego finding Patchy's body. And, we've got David Gray playing as he's, crying over her body. And he has to leave because he doesn't want the cops to think it was him. And so
I thought it was notable, actually, that he didn't have any gloves on.
Yes, he was touching things. Yeah,
because I don't know if it was earlier this episode or if it was last episode, where he picked something up at a crime scene, and Patch is like, "Come on, you're contaminating it," and he makes a point of holding up his hands and going, "Look, gloves, it's fine."
Yeah.
And then here he definitely didn't when he was touching her and stuff.
Yeah, because he picked up that bit of paper.
Yeah,
I can definitely see that coming back to haunt him. Yeah, I will say that the music usage has been very good in this show. I will say this wasn't bad at the end of the David Gray song. I will say, like, some of the other music choices have felt really inspired, where it's felt like, this feels really stylish. I think We're Alone Now in the first episode, the Queen from episode 2, and some of the other ones. This one at the end though felt more like a typical TV show song choice, if that makes sense.
Yeah. No, it felt like here's your sad end of episode song.
Yeah, if it felt like something that would equally be on the CW or NBC or Fox or whatever.
It does.
Which isn't a bad thing per se. It's just, it stuck out to me as like this feels more conventional than some of the other choices.
I agree. I'll let it slide because 4 episodes in, they've had multiple songs every episode, and this is the first one where I've felt that.
Yeah.
Credit overall.
Yeah, no, that's fair. But yeah, that was episode 4.
I thought the pacing on this one was a little bit better. I think because the plots seemed to be condensed a bit more, like they were paired up a bit more, it didn't feel as scattershot.
Yeah, because you had Diego with Klaus, and then that eventually with Five. You had Diego with Luther. You had Klaus with the villains the whole episode, which I think is the main thing that makes it feel better, because it feels like they're interacting with one of our main characters the whole time. So it feels like they're involved the whole time. And then you had the others, the girls paired up as well. So I agree. The pacing in this one was probably a bit better than the last two. So
a couple of other things to mention.
Mm-hmm.
They think it was Cha-Cha and Hazel who killed Mum.
That's true. Yeah. Diego never quite it confesses up.
No.
Yeah.
Just thought it was interesting. I think again that's one of those things that he'll have to, in the same way, I think it was last episode he confessed about the monocle. He'll come back around and confess about this at some point, and I think the others will be a bit mad at him for robbing them of their chance to say goodbye.
What felt weird about it to me is that it didn't feel like he was actually lying. He was just withholding. Like,
he just didn't tell them.
Yeah, when it came up, he just kind of said, "Well, you got what you want in the end, didn't you?" And he walked away. And it wasn't like that wasn't him saying that he didn't do it by any means. It was just he still felt bitter because they wanted to do it in the first place. And now he probably hates himself for having to go through with it. So it felt like instead of like lying about it, he was just like I felt like that comment he made still felt genuine given that he did it. It was just like he's not told them. So I think that's interesting.
I definitely think at this point of the show, the plot is probably going to be taking a backseat. Not like the plot's not important, but I think I'm realizing it's going to be more a focus on the characters and their relationships more than the plot overall. Yeah, and that's not a bad thing because I actually quite like all the characters.
Yeah, I do too. There has to be a bit of balance, just so the pacing feels right.
The things are moving forward, and we got this time travel adventure with Klaus to witness or at least see the aftermath of.
Yeah, and Cha-Cha and Hazel are stuck in present day now. So
yeah, they're still going.
Yeah. What are you doing, Garrus? Stop it. Stop that right now. Yeah, you heard me. All right, that has been episode 4 of the Umbrella Academy. So by all means, let us know what you thought of the episode in the comments below. Like and subscribe, all that jazz. You can, of course, get us on patreon.com/MailFuzzTV. If you want to support the channel and the show and everything we do here and keep the reviews coming, you can go over there and support us for as little as $1 per month. You can get us on the Twitters at mailed_fuzz for channel updates. You can also buy some merchandise should you wish over at the stores. There's links in the description to both the US and the UK stores. But otherwise, that is us. So thank you once again for watching or listening. We always appreciate it. Keep watching TV, guys. Have you got any vanilla?